Well, welcome back to Locker Talk, where you hear about NFL stars of tomorrow today. I'm your host, Barry Barnes, founder and CEO of locker-report.com. And you guys can always reach out and follow me in any one of my social handles on Twitter at locker_report, Instagram, Lock Report 100, all small caps, on Facebook, lockreport.com, and the Locker Talk podcast is on Facebook. And also, make sure you guys subscribe to this channel, the Locker Talk podcast, all one word, Locker Talk space podcast. Please subscribe to this channel. This channel is ready to take off into higher levels in regards to the NFL, talking about exclusively the players who came through the NFL Regional Combine platform. And you guys also check me out on Fridays on the Bachelor News Radio Network, where you listen to my show Friday mornings at 9 a.m. Okay, now, like we said, with Locker Talk Podcast, we focus exclusively on the players who came through the NFL Regional Combine platform. However, we also talk about other things other than officiating. We also talk about HBCU football. So anytime you see this logo right there, you know we're going to go heavy in on the HBCU players in the NFL. Everyone gets started with no further delay. Now, when we think about HBCU football, HBCU platform, we think about the great heritage of African American pride in this country and around the world. For HBCU brand is represented all over the globe. But we're going to focus strictly on the NFL. Now, when the NFL, we think about the greatness of the plays. We think about the players in the league, the African American players, which is predominantly leveled out for African American players on the field. But when we think about HBCU with the NFL, we really don't see too many positive things. Now, we have a lot of great content that's out there. It's provided by great sources of news coverage, all the way with the HBCU Game Day, with great writers like Emory Hunt, Jim Trouter, Steve Reich, NFL Network, and then also one of my favorite people, one of my former colleagues, in David Steele, and all the great work they put out there in regards to the HBCU platform. So simply, all I'm going to do is just add to the great coverage out there in regards to the platform, but just do it just a little different. It's a little different. Now, like I said, when it comes down to the HBCU program brand, we know that the NFL front office is now involved with NFL football operations, knowing that NFL Executive Vice President Troy Vincent is spearhead this whole process together with a collective group of smart people to start the brand of the HBCU Combine, which we cannot wait till 2021 to have the workouts, but it was definitely canceled due to the pandemic of the coronavirus. Now, we're going to move forward from that. Now, when we talk about the HBCU program, now in 2000, now better yet, last season, 2019, there were only 32 players out of over 1,700 players in the league that was from the HBCU program. This year, currently, as of December the 7th, there's exactly 31 players from the HBCU brand that are currently in the NFL. Now, we was at 32, but last month, in the month of November, cornerback from Norfolk State, Christian Angulo, was released from the Indianapolis Colts. That's not a bad thing. He was on a roster, so it shows that he is very much an NFL caliber player, which I'm not surprised because I was expecting him to be in the league this year anyway. However, moving forward, 31 players currently are in the league right now. Now, by position, there are 8 defensive backs, the most out of all the positions, 6 offensive linemen, defensive fronts, meaning defensive end, defensive linemen, there are 5. Linebackers, there are 4. Wide receivers, there are 5. 1 tight end, 1 running back, and 1 special teams player who's a punter. Now, when we talk about the players in the league now, that's currently with the HBCU program, it's been really good this year. When we start this season off, we know that we had Tyreek Horn, running back / everything, multi-purpose player for the Chicago Bears, and he was starting off this season very, very strong until, unfortunately, he had to end the season with an ACL injury. The Chicago Bears definitely suffer and miss his productivity. I like to compare him a lot to Tyreek Hill. You know, he had pretty much the same skill set, but I really believe that with him coming back next year, he'll be much stronger than ever. And I think the Chicago Bears recognize that. They definitely miss this young man. We miss this young man. The program missed this young man. The HBCU brand missed this young man, but he's going to come back much stronger next year. Definitely looking forward to that. Now, when we think about the HBCU product on the NFL, we think about one person that stands out pretty much, I like to say, the cream of the crop of the HBCU programming, and that's Indianapolis Colts linebacker Darius Leonard. Now, Leonard, South Carolina State product, second round pick in the 2018 draft, 36 overall. He's essentially the top-notch guy from the HBCU program, and also one of the best linebackers in the league. He was actually the only HBCU player voted on the 2019 players list, 100 top players list, voted amongst his peers. He was the only one. Hopefully we will be changing that really soon with some good quality play for some players from the HBCU program. Now, currently, he has 86 tackles. Two of them are sacks. He has 1 forced fumble, 5 tackles for loss, and 2 quarterback hits. He did miss a couple of games this season, but came back when the team had faced the Detroit Lions and just went on a rampage. The strip sack fumble on quarterback Matthew Stafford. He has really shown that he's by far not just the platform, the HBCU brand, that's the pinnacle, that's the best player, but he has shown that he is one of the best players in the NFL. If he continued this, man, hopefully he'll find himself with a yellow jacket to join the other great HBCU players before him in the Hall of Fame. So, Darius Leonard, keep up the good work. You're carrying the pride of the HBCU program in the NFL. You are a standard, not just for the HBCU, but also for the NFL. Also, we're going to look at his teammate, defensive tackle Grover Stewart from Albany State, Georgia. 4th round pick in the 2017 draft. He went 144 overall. Now, so far, he has accumulated 43 tackles. He hasn't got a sack yet. He's getting close. He's getting close. Has not got a sack yet. If you see how he took down Patrick Mahomes last year, he's getting close. He's getting there. But with 43 tackles in the season, he's definitely a viable piece for this Indianapolis team that was once the #1 ranked defense in the NFL. This team is showing that they're a legitimate playoff contender. Definitely have to watch out for them, for they actually are covered for us. Good running game, good passing game, very balanced across the board. Continue to watch the way how they progress during the course of the year. Now, also, when we talk about the HBCU product, we looking at this other young man, an offensive lineman in Titus Howard from Alabama State. He was a 1st round draft pick in 2019 draft, went 23rd overall, drafted by the Houston Texans. Now, when we look at the way how he is playing, he is having himself a solid year this year. His rookie year started off strong, then wound up, injury reserve, but he showed a lot of promise. Very, very strong, as he has shown that coming into this year, he's getting much lower, putting his hands consistently on the inside, and he's one of those offensive linemen that is so strong that oftentimes he can just use his one hand to move a defensive lineman. Now, that's not necessarily what teams want to see their offensive linemen do all the time, because it's not always the best technique. But when you're as strong as Howard is and you can get away with it, heck, by all means, go for it. Continue to do your thing out there. Now, defensive end for the Buffalo Bills, Daryl Johnson from North Carolina A&T, was an undrafted player, but the Bills is really putting a lot of consistent time with him, allowing him to develop his game in the NFL. Right now, currently, he has 10 tackles, including a sack, which he had got this year when he had brought down Las Vegas Raiders quarterback Derek Carr. Right now, he is showing that he is that valuable piece that is slowly coming up in the ranks with the Buffalo Bills, showing that eventually, with them giving him enough time to develop his game, because he's clearly a raw talent. He definitely has everything he has everything he needs to be a solid player in the NFL. The Buffalo Bills recognizing that, he's getting that adamant time out there on the field. He averaged around 24 snaps a game, And the most he played so far this year was in week 12 when he lined up against the Los Angeles Chargers, when he had the most snaps. But he's averaging, not averaging 24 snaps. He's actually averaging around 18 snaps a game. But that was the game when he had the most snaps thus far in the season. So continue to watch out for Daryl Johnson, defensive end for the Buffalo Bills, number 92. He is putting work out there. Now, when we think about defensive backs, now we have some good defensive backs that's out there, but one of the ones that stands out a lot is Baltimore Ravens defensive back Anthony Levine Jr. from Tennessee State. Now, he's what I consider a special teams ace. He is really showing some great stuff out there on the field. He's actually a real ball hawk. Wherever that ball is on the ground, he is definitely going for it. He's definitely have a nose for, getting that opportunity to get that ball that's on the field. He also, one time he did get a converted 2-point conversion that the Indianapolis Colts was trying to get against the Ravens several years ago, but he wound up intercepted the pass, took it all the way back down to the field for a score for the Ravens. So he definitely have good hands, have a good nose for the ball, have a knack for the ball. Recovering fumbles, he definitely does a good job in doing that, being Johnny on the spot. His scoop and go is one of the best. You don't never see him fumbling with the ball. As soon as he gets to see the ball on the ground, he scoops it up and he's gone. Really quick, very agile, very fast. That's the part that I like about him a lot. Also, being able to create those opportunities when it's given to him. He did have a recovery. Well, actually, he had a recovery this year playing against the Cleveland Browns when fellow HBCU standout Jamie Gillian, punter for the Cleveland Browns, was lined up for a fake punt. And as you can see right here, he received the ball from snap, and then he takes off running to his right. And of course, he's used to kicking the ball. He's not used to running with the ball. So he wound up getting hit. The ball comes out, and then here we go, Lynn, right there. Anthony scooping the ball up before they corralled him and brought him down. And here you go, ready to take the picture with the team on the sideline. I love when the players do that. That's like one of the coolest things to see in the league. But with Anthony doing his job out there on the field, being a strong asset for the Ravens, also recovering another fumble against the Pittsburgh Steelers in Week 12. That was a strong, hard-fought contest, considering that the Ravens had several players out due to the Corona-19. But he has shown that he's solid. 2 tackles on the season thus far. Continue to watch Anthony Levine Sr., number 41 for the Baltimore Ravens. Now, we just talked about Jamie, the punter for the Cleveland Browns. Now, last year he did something that was a little different. He came to Baltimore and around week 16 in Baltimore City. It's not a summer day, It's really not the warmest day. It's not necessarily the coldest, but it's still a little chill. But when he came, he showed up in a kilt. That was different. Not a problem. He is from Scotland. Came down, came through the process of the HBCU through Arkansas, Pine Bluff. Solid career there. Hey, open the door for him to get to the NFL. One of the solid punters in the league. Now, when you look at his stats, it's not the greatest amongst the whole, grouping of punters in the NFL. However, there's one knack that he does very, very well, and that is being able to short kick, have a good hang time on short punts, meaning that if he had to kick the ball off from their 45-yard line, their 40-yard line, and they don't want to touch back, he have a good range of kicking it high enough and still landing enough, at least inside the 20 or the 10, or by the time the rest of the players, special team players for the Browns, get down the field. So he definitely have a really good knack with that. His longest thus far this year has went for 59 yards. He's averaging about 44.4 attempts a game. He had 37 attempts thus far this season because the Browns, they kicking butt out there. They really don't need him as much as they needed him last year to help keep him in games. But this is his averaging a little over 44 yards a punt, showing that he's definitely can be that weapon when it comes down to situational punting. That's where another knack that he has to help keep the pressure on opposing teams and also give the defense some room to be able to operate. So continue to watch out for what Jamie is doing out there. Out scout his friend who came through Arkansas and Pine Bluff. Now, Cadell Hodge wide receiver for the Cleveland Browns. Now, get some playing time, not a whole lot. But the thing is, when he's on the field, when Hodges is on the field, he made things happen. He was targeted 15 times thus far this season, caught 9 passes, all of which converted for first downs. He had 155 yards on the season thus far, averaging about 17.2 catches every time he get his hands on that pigskin. He had a fantastic play earlier in the year when he had caught a pass for 42 yards, and then you can see right here how Baker Mayfield scrambled to get away from the pressure, and he found Hodge down the field, caught the pass, and he was so elusive, that the Steelers could not get him down. So he was just working on the field, making the play to get his team in the right position, and they actually helped set them up for that first score that evening in that particular matchup. So Kadel Hodge banged up during the middle part of the season. He's back now. The Browns definitely missed his productivity during the middle part of the season, but now he's back. He's healthy, ready to get down. As long as they continue to use this man, I'm looking forward to seeing what he's going to do in the postseason, assuming if the Browns continue to hold on that positioning. Now, another player to get to from the HBCU that's doing very well this year is Danny Johnson, cornerback from Southern University, cornerback for the Washington Redskins. He's more of another special teams ace, a return guy. He had 1 punt return this year that went for 3 yards, but he had returned the ball 19 times this season, getting around 415 yards. His longest so far went for 46 yards against the Dallas Cowboys on a kickoff return. He is showing that he had good presence on the field. Washington Redskins were lacking some kind of presence in their return game. Danny Johnson gives them this piece that they've been missing for several years on special teams as a solid return man, and he's definitely out there doing what he's supposed to do and setting things up for him. Now, when we talk about someone that's really making things happen with the ball in their hand, is definitely Trent Cannon from Virginia State, running back for the Carolina Panthers. He was actually drafted in the 6th round in 2018 draft by the New York Jets, 204th overall. Now, he had carried the ball this year 9 times for 35 yards. However, he did have an impressive 98-yard kickoff return against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Just right there and scoring a touchdown. As you see, get the ball, taking down the field, bounce out to his right, showing his speed, something he had always showed in college, something that everyone was looking forward to seeing ever since he got into the NFL. Unfortunately, he really didn't get a chance to really showcase a lot when he was with the Jets, but he turned the Jets on here and almost got across that goal line for his new team with the Carolina Panthers that's up and coming in the NFL. Now, that gives a wrap up for what the players have done thus far in the NFL from the HBCU platform. These players are doing it. They're showing that the HBCU players are viable. They can play in the league. Looking forward to next year after going through the HBCU combine. Now, the talent is there. It's not a robust influx of talent that's out there from the HBCU, but yet they definitely have some good guys out there. I'm looking forward to taking the number up from averaging just only 30 players from the HBCU program and dating back to 2017. Last year we was at 32. This year we was at least at 33, but we had 2 players that were released. But we want to make sure that going forth, especially after the workouts next year, that this number start to go a little higher. Change is coming. It's going to take some time, but we're going to stick with it. And as long as we continue to give more prevalence, more visibility to the HBCU brand, showing that their importance in the NFL, trust me, change will going to come. We want to highlight these young men to give them the opportunities so they can be able to showcase their skill set on the NFL level, the highest level of football where these talented young men belong. Thank you for tuning in to Lock and Talk, where you hear about NFL stars of tomorrow today. I'm your host, Barry Barnes, founder and CEO of locker-report.com. And you guys, please continue to follow me on any one of my social handles, on Twitter at locker_report, on Instagram, lockreport100, all small caps. Also, make sure you guys check me out on Facebook, on lockerreport.com, Also, the Locker Talk podcast is on Facebook. And make sure, subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to the Locker Talk, one word podcast. Subscribe to this channel. The channel is going places. Make sure you guys stay tuned and follow. And also check me out on Friday mornings on the Bachelor News Radio Network at 9 a.m. Everyone stay blessed. Enjoy this NFL season. We want to come back towards the end of the season, talk about some more HBCU players, what they've done to wrap up the 2020 NFL campaign. And then we're going to start looking forward into the future with this great process, with this great platform of great talented players that's looking to get to the next level. Everyone stay blessed. We talk to you guys soon.